friends, so today I'm going to show you how to make a paper pumpkin for fall. I'm going to go over a mini paper pumpkin first, and then I'm going to show you my larger paper pumpkin design. If you're using a cutting machine, you can conveniently make these in a lot of different sizes, and the templates I provide come with two for PDFs if you're hand cutting. So let's get started. I'm going to go over supplies next. So for your supplies, you're going to want to use 65-pound cardstock. I don't recommend going any higher than that. A glue gun and your templates. You can find them in a link in the description. Scissors or a cutting machine, and you can also get some wire, which is optional. Okay, so go ahead and get your templates all cut out, your stem, your leaves, and your pumpkin template that we just went over. And we're going to make the pumpkin first. It's really easy to do. You're just going to choose one of the points. Any one of the points is fine. And add a little bit of glue. And then go ahead and overlap with another point next to it. And then repeat the process again with all 7 sides of the pumpkin. It's not a lot of complicated headwork to this design. It's just very, very simple and very basic. It's something that even kids can do, even little kids can manage to do this. So it can be a really fun fall craft for the family. Okay, go ahead and fold up your last piece here. And if it doesn't come together perfectly evenly, that's okay. Pumpkins aren't generally perfectly even anyways. Give it a little squeeze to get good contact there in the center, and it's going to pop right back up. And go ahead and set this aside for now, and we're going to make the stem real quick. Okay, so I just have about a 6-inch piece of paper here that's about 1.5 inches wide. And I'm just gonna use my fingers to roll the piece of paper all the way up. Once you get a little bit into the roll, you can go ahead and add some glue to make sure it stays like nice and tight together and doesn't try to unroll on you. And just roll it all the way up until you've achieved the desired thickness for your stem. And I like to make the top a little uneven so that it makes it kind of look more like a stem rather than a piece of paper. But that's optional. Next, I'm going to take my 2 leaves, or you can use 3 if you prefer, and I'm going to glue each leaf on one side of the stem. Just add a little bit of glue and just add the leaf to the base of it. Repeat again with another leaf, or if you prefer to do 3 leaves, that's fine too. I'm going to fold each of the 2 or 3 leaves out so that I've now created basically a base of which I can add glue to adhere it to the top of our little pumpkin. Add some glue to each of the leaves and a little bit of glue to the stem area. And then you're just gonna press it into the top center of the pumpkin. First, kind of press your leaves down because that's going to stabilize the stem, and give it a little push again and it'll pop back up, but that's going to help the glue make sure it makes good contact. And your little pumpkin's now all finished. Super cute, super fun fall craft. Enjoy! You're going to want to go ahead and get your templates cut out. You want to cut out 7 of the pumpkin side pieces, 1 7-sided base, about a 2-inch circle, and your preferred number of leaves. You can do a couple, you'll need at least 2, but you can do more than that. We're going to be gluing each pumpkin piece onto each side of the 7-sided base. It's going to help us keep it even so that when we go to fold it up to assemble it, that our pieces are as even as possible. So each of the 7 sides represents a place where you're going to glue one of the pumpkin pieces down. It doesn't have to be 100% perfect. Like I said in the other tutorial, pumpkins aren't really perfect by nature, so it's okay if things are not completely perfect. I'm a perfectionist, so I get it, but don't get too hung up on it. Next, you're going to take the small little circle that is included in your templates. Mine here is probably about maybe 2 inches or a little less. And you're going to fold each of the pumpkin pieces up and add a little bit of glue and place it onto the circle. Kind of think of it like you're adding a slice of pie to the circle. And again, it doesn't have to be perfectly even. You're gonna notice especially that when you get to the last 1 or 2 pieces here, it might try and like kind of fight you a little bit, and so you may have to glue it just ever so slightly uneven, and that's fine. That's what mine do as well. It's actually gonna make the pumpkin a little more bit authentic looking, because pumpkins generally aren't perfectly round. They're oval, they're squashed, they're lopsided, so if it's a little, like if the last piece is a little hard to get on, you'll see me do that in just a minute here. It's totally okay, and that's totally normal, and it makes your pumpkin look more realistic. Go ahead and get your last piece secured in here. However it comes together best for you is fine. Make sure you hold this one until it's dry, otherwise it'll probably try and pop off on you. You can give it a little bit of a squeeze to get it to stay. Moving on to your stem, I have about a 6-inch piece here. It's about 2 inches wide, and I'm just going to roll it up. It's the exact same thing we did for the small pumpkin. So I'm just repeating the process here. If you're making a larger pumpkin, obviously you might want to make it a little bit thicker, but it's basically exactly the same thing we did in the mini pumpkin. Repeat again the same process with the leaves, gluing 2 or 3 around the base of the stem. And this is what is going to give us a good solid foundation to just add some glue to stick it to the top of the pumpkin. And again, we're just doing everything exactly the same as we did in the mini pumpkin tutorial. So get that situated and go ahead and get it glued on. And then I'm going to show you in a minute how to do a little bit of a vine to add to your pumpkin, in case you want to add some more leaves and vines to make your pumpkins really pop and be more realistic. Here I just have a few pieces of 18 gauge wire. They're probably about 6 or 7 inches long, and I'm just going to twist 3 of them together. You can do more if you like. You can make them different lengths. Whatever you prefer is totally up to you. But I'm just twisting 3 here together and kind of fanning them out a little bit. And what I'm going to do is I've cut a few extra spare leaves, and I'm just going to glue the leaves with the wire kind of sandwiched in between 2 leaves. Again, you can kind of add as many or as few as you want of the leaves. For my last little piece here, I'm actually going to just use my finger and wrap the wire around it to kind of make a little corkscrew, and it'll look kind of like a little vine coming off of the branch of leaves. So you'll see that a lot with like pumpkins and fall items and stuff. So I'm adding that, and I'm just going to add probably 1 more leaf in the center there to make it look a little more finished. These can be really fun if you decide to do a lot of them, or do like a branch that's really long and has lots of vines on it. It can look really cool. I'm using 18 gauge wire here, but you can use 22 gauge or 20 gauge wire will work fine too. It's a little more flexible. It actually might work better than what I'm using. This is just the wire I had on hand. And then once I'm happy with my little vine branch here, I'm just gonna, if I want to, you can just place it near the pumpkin, or you can kind of use the wire at the bottom that's remaining, that's sticking out, and make a little loop with your fingers, and then use it to loop around the stem of the pumpkin, so it kind of looks like it's growing off the top of the pumpkin. So it can be really cool. And that's your large pumpkin, and now you know how to make a large and a mini pumpkin. And if you're using a cutting machine, you can of course adjust the sizes and make a lot of different great sizes for fall. I hope you enjoyed this. Thanks for watching.